around this time of the year that all the fashion trend prediction videos start popping up. The reason that I was inspired to make my own version of a fashion trend prediction video is because I feel like these videos either focus on the micro fashion trends or they focus on the mainstream fashion trends that are really affecting the mass market of fashion. I feel like in order to get a holistic view of all of the fashion trends that we're going to see in 2024, it's good to sort of combine the two, because obviously it goes without saying that the micro fashion trends that you see or that you're interested in, they're very dependent on what you're already into and sort of the sub-market or subculture of fashion that you participate in. So obviously I did want to include the micro fashion trends that I'm seeing in my vicinity of fashion, but I also wanted to include the wider market trends that we're going to see in 2024. Hopefully it will also help you discern what is just the hype trends and what is going to come and go quite quickly, and then the trends that are going to last the whole year. So this is going to be my version of a 2024 fashion trend prediction video. So I'm going to start with the micro fashion trends that I'm seeing. Some of these pieces and products are things that we've seen trend in 2023 already. However, the list also includes things that I don't think we've seen trend yet, but are going to be a big thing in 2024. I'm just going to start by literally listing off the products, and then we'll go a bit deeper into the aesthetics and some of the reason for these trends later on. But this first list of products is everything that I think can be captured under what I'm calling business casual. Obviously, this incorporates the cores of office core, corp core, librarian core, but basically what I think an overarching way to describe this trend and this aesthetic is anything that is a bit more effortless, a bit more minimalist, and a bit more seasonless in a way. However, there are very specific pieces that fit into this aesthetic that we're seeing trending. Obviously, this is things like grey pleated skirts. I think by now a lot of fast fashion retailers have their version of a pleated skirt, but I've honestly seen so many grey pleated skirts on Vinted and Depop, so they're really easy to shop and you can get them really cheap on there. A product that we haven't seen trending in 2023 but is going to be a huge thing in 2024 is actually long leather skirts. So a lot of sources are saying that long leather skirts, specifically that look like this, are going to be a huge trend in 2024. Again, on a similar note with this faux leather, fake leather trend, we're going to see mini leather shorts also be a huge thing in 2024. Also, we're going to see leather driving gloves, and then a huge thing is of course these off-the-shoulder tops. We've already seen so many fast fashion retailers play into this trend of the off-the-shoulder tops. However, I feel like these pieces were so fundamental in the early 2000s that there are going to be so many great ways to thrift off-the-shoulder tops. Also fitting into this whole aesthetic, and something that's definitely a micro trend right now and that we'll see in the early months of 2024, are these block color tights. I feel like this goes really nicely with this whole aesthetic of business casual, because obviously the colors that are associated with business casual are things like grey, white, navy is big in this, black as well, just any sort of muted tone. In terms of the shoes that go into this trend, obviously loafers are a huge thing. I don't think ballet flats are going to slow down at all in 2024. However, I feel like the lead on from this trend is going to be just a lot more flat shoes in general, but specifically this Mary Jane type of shoe. In terms of accessories, obviously oversized bags are a huge thing. I feel like this Bottega bag specifically has had a huge influence as well on this oversized bag trend. So we're going to see any sort of woven slouchy bag like this continue to be a popular product in 2024. Also, something that I haven't seen mentioned yet, but I think is only a natural lead on to this whole workwear or business casual aesthetic, is the incorporation of briefcases. I think it would be really cool if people started using briefcases for the practical reason that they're easy to carry your laptop in, but using them for less corporate jobs. I think this is definitely something we're going to see. It's only a natural lead on from this whole workwear aesthetic. However, I think when you look a bit deeper into the actual products that fit into this aesthetic of business casual, they're obviously, in my opinion, a lot more effortless, minimalist, and also a bit more seasonless and timeless. And I feel like it all just reflects this buy less, buy better mentality that's really been spurred on by the economic state of the world at the moment. So I think that's really interesting. Also, something else that could be influencing this trend is the release of Phoebe Philo's highly anticipated collection. Obviously, Phoebe Philo is known for her minimalist, effortless aesthetic as well, and I feel like her influence on just the whole fashion landscape could be strengthening this consumer desire for more seasonless, effortless pieces as well. Potentially this will spur on the interest in more quality items, again going into this idea of buying less but buying better. Something else I wanted to mention that I feel backs up this trend, and also why we're going to see it in 2024, is that a lot of fashion brands have reported a major increase in the sales for silk and cashmere. Again, I think this just shows that people are investing more in quality pieces that are really going to last a long time, rather than these fast fashion pieces that are just going to have to be disposed of really quickly. I do also feel like generally this whole aesthetic can definitely be described as more mature and sophisticated, and this is something in terms of a trend prediction that I wanted to mention for 2024. I feel like wanting to dress more mature means wanting to dress in more fitted clothes and the move away from baggy clothes. Of course, this means the return of skinny jeans could be a thing. To be honest, I've always said that I will never wear skinny jeans again. However, there was also a time where I said I would never wear flare pants, so I really think never say never. I think in 2024 we could see the return of skinny jeans, so I think it'll be really interesting to see at the end of 2024 if we're all walking around in skinny jeans, but that's definitely just one to watch and let simmer for now. Also, something to note on the topic of trending colours. This is something that I haven't seen reported in any fashion trend prediction video that I've watched so far, but it's the colour of actual purple. So this sort of more traditional primary purple. Apparently this is going to be a huge thing in 2024. Perhaps this will be more for the streetwear market. However, a lot of reliable fashion trend reporting sources are saying that the colour purple, this traditional colour purple, is going to be a huge thing in 2024. So that's definitely something to watch. So moving away now from this workwear aesthetic, I did want to mention some other micro fashion trends that are starting to trend and that I think will continue to trend in 2024. Something that I've just seen started to pop up is these hurling or aviator jackets. Apparently, a lot of sources are saying that a whole white version of this jacket is going to be a huge thing in the early months of 2024. The next micro trend prediction that I wanted to mention is my favorite on this whole list. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. It is the trend of fur hats, but it's not just any fur hats. It is specifically these style of hats. So apparently these style of hats fit under a aviator or trapper style, or also a ushanka style as well. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'll put the name on screen or down below. Something that also fits into this trend of faux fur is fur jackets. Also, I think on a similar note to the aviator jackets, obviously right now every single colorway of fur jackets are trending. However, I do think white fur jackets specifically are going to be a sort of hype micro trend that we see in the coming weeks, and then also in the early months of 2024. So the final micro trend that I have on my list is this idea of accessorizing your accessories. So I mentioned this in my last video. I was talking about a new fashion brand that I'm obsessed with, Gabrielle Rosentine, and basically she creates these little 3D accessories to go on your bags, and also these bracelets with the same 3D charms of this specific character or specific characters. I feel like this, although is a very niche micro trend, I feel like it is something that more and more people are going to do just to make their outfits more personal to them. What I've seen described is people really adding charms to their shoes, their belts, their bags, with things that are very personal to them, that really highlight their personality and their journey in life so far in a way. So I feel like that's a really fun, cute trend to participate in as well. So obviously now I've spoken about the micro fashion trends that I'm really seeing in my vicinity of fashion and sort of what I'm seeing trending in sort of the styles that I'm already into. However, I also wanted to talk about the more mainstream fashion trends that we're really going to see in the mass market of fashion, just because I think this will give a more holistic view of all of the fashion trends that we're going to see in 2024. So the first thing that I wanted to mention is this idea of heritage and big fashion brands going back to their heritage logos or heritage pieces, create this sort of wider generational appeal with their fashion products, and also invoke this sort of nostalgic feeling to their brand and the products that they're putting out in 2024. So what all of the fashion trend sources and fashion trend reports are saying is that this move back to heritage products is to avoid a fatigue in this idea of quiet luxury. Big brands are going to start focusing on heritage and going back to their archival collections, bringing back heritage logos to sort of still invoke this idea of quiet luxury. So I'm thinking of brands like Ralph Lauren, for instance. They could really go into their archival collections, bring back heritage logos. Obviously thinking of Burberry as well with their new logo, really going back to heritage to invoke this feeling of luxuriousness with the brand in a way. And really this all ties into the wider market trend of wanting to create a more authentic connection with consumers. And because of this, the bigger brands are really going to play on the heritage, play into that relationship that they've been building with consumers for years and years. And because of this, we could see more heritage aesthetics start popping up in 2024. Also, sheercore is a huge thing for the wider market trends. Not a lot to say really about sheercore, just that sheer products will be a trend in 2024. In terms of the luxury influences and also runway influences that we're going to see impacting the fashion trends in 2024, one of the biggest takeaways from the 24 runways have been pastel colors and very feminine colors. So literally there's been so many 24 runway collections that have included pastel colors. Specifically what's being spotlighted the most is this butter yellow pastel color. I am absolutely obsessed with this color of yellow, especially for like an evening dress. My mind goes to that film How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. That is what I think of when I think of this trend and why I think it will be such a fun trend for summer of 2024. Another really interesting thing that I've seen mentioned in all of the runway reports this year, but I haven't seen mentioned in any fashion trend prediction videos for next year, is this idea of layering your outfits like a cake. So obviously I've mentioned the idea of pastels, and basically another trend on top of this is taking these pastel, very feminine colors and floaty silhouettes and then layering your outfit like a cake. I think you can imagine what this means, and it definitely sounds very fun. So yeah, literally layering your outfit, thinking of the colors that sort of fit into this as well. So that's definitely something to note in terms of the wider market trend predictions and luxury trend predictions for 2024. So the final thing that I want to mention in terms of overarching fashion trend predictions for 2024 is this focus on sportswear and also functional wear. So obviously in 2024 we're going to have the Paris Olympics and then also the Paralympics in the summer as well. Obviously whenever it's the Olympics, this is really going to spark a lot of interest in sportswear. Also, I think this could spark an interest in heritage wear. So like I was saying, this idea of heritage, I feel like sportswear brands could really start to play on their heritage, looking into Olympic heritage and the whole aesthetic and fashion products that go along with this as well. So that's something that I wanted to mention definitely in terms of overarching fashion trend predictions that we're going to see next year. The Olympics is going to have a huge impact on the fashion trends that we see. So that was all of my fashion trend predictions for 2024. Definitely let me know what you think of these trends and also what your favorite trends are for 2024. So until the next one, I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.